Hello, this video will show you how you can export an expense report into Dynamics 365 Business Central. You'll notice I have my browser open. On one of the tabs, I have Dynamics 365 Business Central open. And on the other tab, I have an expense report that I just completed. We will be exporting this expense report to Dynamics 365. On this expense report, you will notice there are two lines. One is a $200 charge for Hilton Hotels, and the second is a $300 charge for Delta Airlines. The report total is $500, and the status of the report is Manager Approved. Only manager-approved expense reports can be exported to Dynamics 365. Now, in order to export this expense report, you have to log in to the Gorilla Expense web app as an admin user. And once you're logged in, go to Integration tab, Export Expense Reports, and click on Show Approved Expense Reports to see a list of all manager-approved expenses listed there. From the list, you just select the ones you want to send to Dynamics 365. Or you could just select all if you want to send them all to Dynamics 365. And change the status to AP Approved so that particular expense report doesn't get picked up again in this list. And click on Send to ERP and Update Status button. This will send the expense report to Dynamics 365, and the status will update to Success if the integration is successful. Else, the status will update to Failed, and you will be able to see the reason in the logs and thus easily analyze what went wrong. Now let's go to Dynamics 365 BC and open the Purchase Invoices to find the expense report exported to Dynamics 365 as a purchase invoice. So in this case, the purchase invoice is created against the user's vendor number. If you have corporate cards, then the purchase invoice will be created against the corporate card vendor number that you had maintained in Dynamics 365. On the Lines section on the invoice, you'll see the lines we had on the expense report. One was for Hilton Hotels, and the second was for Delta Airlines, and the appropriate GL account tied to the respective expense types on the expense reports. We can also map the respective dimensions on the invoice line based on your requirement. You can also configure the integration to map job-related fields like Job and Job Task if you're doing job accounting in Dynamics 365. You'll see the amounts and the total at the bottom of the invoice. Once the invoice shows up on the Purchase Invoice screen, you can go ahead and post it, just like you would post any other purchase invoice. This option of exporting is also available in an automated mode. So, for example, every Friday a job will read all the manager-approved expense reports and send them to Dynamics 365. However, a lot of our customers like to manually see what they're sending to Dynamics 365. So for them, this UI-based option works as well. Our integration supports multi-currency and multi-company, or intercompany postings as well, for clients who have multiple 365 company databases. In addition to the data, we can even upload the receipts into Business Central. We are one of the few options available in the market that supports the above features, along with other advanced features like dimension mapping, job mapping, and GST mapping. Now, when we go back and click on Show Approved Expense Reports, you will notice that the report we just sent to Dynamics does not show up in the list, as the list only shows reports pending export to Dynamics. Before we conclude, let's go back to the expense report and see how the status changes on the report. Currently, it is Manager Approved. If we refresh the page, the status changes to AP Approved, indicating that the report has now been exported to Dynamics. That brings us to the end of this demo. Thanks for your time today.